Yes, it's dark, and I want to talk about automating your garage. Automation can be done a lot of different ways, but the way I'm doing it is the way some of you might be doing it. But if you aren't, this is a great way to do it. I buy these little smart Govee plugs, and I can tell them through the Alexa device, which mine is programmed to ignore that word, to turn on different systems. Echo, filter on.
Okay.
That just turned on the filter. But if I want to turn on everything in the garage, I can just simply say garage. Echo, garage on.
Okay.
And now I've turned on everything. The filter up above is on. That guy there. It also turns on my primary bank of power here, which turns on the big fan if I have it plugged or turned on. But I have it turned off because it's 60 degrees in the garage. And though I am a polar bear, I get a little cold in the morning. But it also turns on my wood bench, where I do a lot of my woodworking. And it turns on the plug that I have over there on my shop bench, and I can tell that to turn on and off. Let's talk about what I'm talking about. Let me show you. So over here, I've got this smart plug, and you can see I've got it labeled as number 4, and that's just so I remember which one it is in case I get them confused. And this little guy just ties into my Wi-Fi network. But even if the Wi-Fi is disconnected, that little light on the side that's red, you can just press that and it turns it on. When it's red, it's on. When it's blue or green, I think it is, it's off. It's kind of weird. But this way, I can turn different systems on. And if you wanted to, you could also tie this into your router, or I wouldn't tie it into something as powerful as a router or a table saw or anything like that. But I would tie it into like fans or a dust collector like I have, or into the maybe into your vacuum assist system. So you could have it turn on your vacuum device for your dust collection, and save yourself the time and trouble of having to do it all the time with a switch, or going over and turning the switch on and off, or in a pedal. Now, I chose to go with a pedal for my vacuum setup for the router, but that's because I also have the router tied into that as well. So I push the pedal down and the vacuum system comes on, and it also turns on the router simultaneously. I don't have to think about it. It's a done deal that as soon as I take my foot off the pedal, it turns itself off. And it's the same thing with my vacuum assist that I have on my miter station, which I can pull that hose out, and I can also plug it into my, what am I thinking of? What is that thing called? Pocket hole jig. You can see that my pocket hole is set up also on a vacuum. And I've got this plug on the floor, and I just I can just simply pull that out and plug it right into here, and then that works for my Harbor Freight pocket hole jig. And I would love to say that I can plug it into this Harbor Freight bench top sander, but in their infinite wisdom, they put the dust collection port in such a bad location it's hard to get anything to plug into it reasonably well. And forget about it on the grinder. The grinder simply just doesn't have it. But I'm not too worried because I got that grinder for like $20, so I'm not too upset. But you can see I've got one of those smart plugs back in there. And this is just a quick and dirty putting a MERV 13 filter on the back of this. It still moves quite a bit of air. Echo, bench off.
Okay.
So the bench light went off. Echo, shop off.
Okay.
And there goes the filter. Echo, bench on.
Okay.
And the bench is back on again. So these things are very useful, and as long as you don't put your Alexa device up close to the fan, you shouldn't have any problems operating it. You can also, like I did, you can change it from Alexa to ECHO, and that'll make it so you don't have to deal with, like when you're watching YouTube videos or anything, or especially your friends come over, they can tease you and stuff. In my office, you can actually have it set up also if you pay an extra $3, I think it is, one-time fee, lifetime guarantee, and you can have it set up for Samuel Jackson, and I can still access it throughout the house, but it's in my office, it doesn't respond as well to ECHO. Yeah. Anyway, but it still sometimes does respond to that when I'm playing my video game, especially if I yell it out, because you know, you got to know your alphas. But it's also a great thing as well, you know, to check on other systems in the house. If I know I'm going to go into my office, I can tell it to turn my light on in my office, and I can mess with the wife by turning her lights on. When we come home, sometimes we'll just say, you know, we'll say, turn on all lights, and it'll turn on all the lights in the house so that are tied into it. So if our hands are full, you know, we don't have to go scrounging for a turn-on switch on the wall. But yeah, so this is the real big advantage of doing the smart automation, at least for me in the garage. So when I know I'm going to come out to the garage, one of the first things I'll do is I'll turn on the air filter up above, and I'll have that on for about a good 20 minutes before I come into the garage. That way, there's any dust or pollen or particulates, bacteria, whatever floating in the air, that thing will cycle the air in the room about every 30 to 35 minutes. So if I've turned it on for about 20 minutes, that should do me pretty well. Hope you enjoyed this video.